Headline news most affecting Chilliwack this week. Smoked in, and we're coughing about it. A train derailment from CN just outside of Laidlaw, outside of Hope. Chilliwack Schools back in class. The school board back to crunching numbers. Politics in the Valley, and only the shadow cabinet knows. Our special guests this week include Glenda Standeven from the Chilliwack Optimists and our co-anchor this week. Glenda, good to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
And Kris, the BC Director with the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. All right, Chilliwack, let's get started. CN Rail continues an investigation into the derailment of 60 cars filled with potash. The wreck happened near Laidlaw, outside of Hope, late Sunday, early Monday morning, and remarkably without any injuries or worse. Some of the cars actually rolled into a nearby creek which feeds into the Fraser River. CN has yet to reveal the cause of the accident.
The smoke and haze from California, Oregon, and Washington state wildfires were a big problem this week. Some parents refused to let their kids go to school, let alone attend outdoor classes. Canada Post halted mail delivery on both Monday and Tuesday afternoons for the protection of their postal workers, and the forecast is pretty grim until the weekend when we are expected to get a change in the weather. That said, it's predicted these fires could burn unimpeded until November, when the traditional wet season starts.
Politically, it's been a busy week. Erin O'Toole, leader of Canada's Conservatives and the official opposition, announced the Conservative Shadow Cabinet for the second session of the 43rd Parliament. In addition to primary responsibilities as MP for Chilliwack Hope, Mark Strahl has been appointed as the official opposition Shadow Minister for Labour. Strahl remains the CPC party whip. Mission Mascouy Fraser Canyon MP Brad Viss will shadow the Minister for Housing. And then on the heels of the federal Conservatives changing their shadow cabinet, the provincial Liberals did the same. Valley MLAs receiving new assignments. Chilliwack MLA John Martin takes on the portfolio for advanced education, skills, and training. Chilliwack Kent MLA Laurie Thronis, who remains in the spotlight for his comments on LGBTQ and religious views, will share the transportation and infrastructure critic role with MLA Mike Bernier.
It is their first meeting of the school year, and the Chilliwack School District were crunching numbers and reviewing the 2019-2020 audited financial statements and forwarding them to the Ministry of Education. Classes have been back for a week now, and chillTV would like to know if your kids went back to class. Many social media reports say that the number is about 50%.
The Fraser Valley Salmon Society posted to Facebook last Wednesday that DFO issued fines for a protest bar fishery. It happened back on September the 9th. The Fraser Valley Salmon Society and Fraser River Sport Fishing Alliance say they will cover the tickets, the cost of the tickets. 6 of them were issued, averaging $250 each, and this is for fishing salmon or trout during a closed time. Also, 4 anglers had their gear seized by Department of Fisheries. 10 pike minnow and a small sturgeon were caught. The sturgeon was returned to the water. Locals say there are enough fish in the river system for recreational fishing. DFO says otherwise, and this dispute continues. Both societies say they're ready for a battle in court.
Trans Mountain is inviting you to an interactive virtual workshop to learn more about construction and business opportunities with the Trans Mountain Expansion Project in the Fraser Valley. The Zoom seminar is September 29th and sponsored by the Chilliwack, Abbotsford, and Langley Chamber of Commerce. You can sign up through the Abbotsford Chamber of Commerce website. Meanwhile, Trans Mountain Pipeline has released their September calendar for their construction to twin the TMX pipeline through the Fraser Valley. Construction has already started on projects in Chilliwack, Popcom, and Langley.
Back in 2015, the Ann Davis Transition Society announced the opening of Ann's Treasures and Thrift Store downtown on Yale Road in Chilliwack. In February of this year, they announced a reopening after they had some renovations. And then COVID-19 hit and the doors were closed again. So there's now some good news. They are open, albeit on a smaller scale. COVID protocols are now in place. So the thrift store is open Wednesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. with a priority to help Ann Davis clients first and then the public.
Chilliwack City Council heard arguments from Chilliwack Fire Chief Ian Josephson that the fall open-air burning season be cancelled due to breathing problems attributed to COVID-19. Both the spring and fall burning seasons allow plenty of stumpage to be burned off, but this year is different for obvious health reasons. From the BC carbon tax to the ICBC dumpster fire to the reshuffling of shadow cabinets both provincially and federally, Kris Sims with the Canadian Taxpayers Federation has had a busy year and plenty to talk about. chillTV spoke with Kris earlier.
chillTV News of the Week, and we are joined by a face that you've probably seen on television more than once. She is the BC Director for the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, Kris Sims. Kris, we got a lot of stuff to cover in the next few minutes. First off, Erin O'Toole, who is now the new leader of the Progressive Conservatives, who, ironically, as we're going to air, is now in self-isolation. So we wish him the best.
What? Really?
He just went in. We just found out about it.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, he's now the boss of the Canadian Progressive Conservatives. From the Taxpayers Federation point of view, is he going to make a difference, and can he make a difference in opposition, or following the lead of Stephen Harper and Andrew Scheer, is this same old, same old?
Okay, first off, I just need to do full disclosure. I was the Director of Communications for Erin O'Toole when he was Minister of Veterans Affairs within the Harper government, and I consider him a good friend, which is why I'm surprised that he's in isolation right now, and I hope he's doing well. So taking off my personal hat and putting my CTF hat back on, we're very encouraged in the fact that he's promised to scrap the federal carbon tax. That is a huge issue for us. We've been against carbon taxes since they first started, both here in British Columbia and anywhere else. They seem to crop up across Canada. So we've been very encouraged about that. We like things that he's saying, like he really wants to take on the deficit as soon as he possibly can, and maybe someday actually start paying down the horrific level of debt that we're seeing. So financially speaking, we're encouraged. It was one of the main issues that we asked every single one of the Conservative Party leadership candidates. Will you scrap the carbon tax, and also on the firearm ban and the buyback program? We asked about that as well, because we don't want to see another long gun registry boondoggle, and he said he was going to get rid of that as well. So from a financial perspective, we're hopeful, and we'll hold his feet to the fire and make sure he keeps those promises.
One thing that we've heard, the dumpster fire for ICBC more than once, both federally and provincially. We've heard of the new shadow cabinets. Provincially, Stephanie Cadjo is now on the shadow cabinet for the Liberals provincially for ICBC. She took a lot of flack when she was the actual minister for Ministry of Children and Family Development. Again, can she make the difference against ICBC or criticizing ICBC in opposition, as we are in a minority government right now?
We are in a minority government, and as we see, as every day seems to go by, increasingly it looks like we might be going to an early election here in BC. So we'll try to give benefit of the doubt whenever we can. We never try to make things personal as far as politicians go. We always look at their record and what they're going to do and what they say they're going to do. So if she can manage this file and criticize it thoroughly and then follow through on it, if she ever does become part of government and ever does become a cabinet minister, we'll take her at her action. We'll take her at her word and what she actually does. But frankly, we don't care if it's the Flying Monkey Party at this point. We need serious action on ICBC. We want to see a party and a party leader out loud with their faces on camera and on mic say that they are going to open ICBC up to full competition here in British Columbia and allow BC drivers to have a choice when it comes to auto insurance. Again, we don't care if it's the NDP adopting what we're suggesting, or the BC Liberals, or the BC Conservatives, or the BC Green Party for that matter. We want to see some serious action, and frankly, we haven't seen any leadership on it yet.
Is there a real chance, your gut feeling, that we are going to have a snap election in British Columbia? John Horgan, there's rumblings that he's been looking at it and talking about it, perhaps. Would it be prudent we're still dealing with COVID and the pandemic? Would it be a good idea, or should he wait until the spring?
Great question. So if I look at it from more of a political analyst perspective, it sure feels like we're going to go to one. Every time you speak to a reporter who's closer to the ground there in Victoria, they're seeing all the signs, they're reading the tea leaves. And after the Union of BC Municipalities meetings, apparently that's when they're going to go. So we'll see. We'll see. This all could fizzle out and turn into nothing. And when I look at it from a more of a journalism perspective, I find that a lot of us, both in journalism and in commentary, will focus on process stories leading up to a vote. You know, where and when and how are we going to do it, and will the writ be dropped, and how is he going to do it? But the moment it happens and we're into it, all those stories seem to go away. They evaporate. We start focusing on the actual issues or the attack ads or whatever happens to be happening within the election period. So we think the process stories will fade away. And if people feel ticked off that he called an election early, then voters will vote accordingly. What we want to see is action on lower taxes and trying to balance this budget as soon as they can.
On a local, regional level, and I would love to have your opinion on this, if you are allowed to say anything. Chilliwack Chamber of Commerce just released a video claiming that most small businesses have told them that they could last through the next 6 months of this pandemic. At the same time this is happening, Envision Financial, a rather large bank, a credit union, just shut down their branch in Yarrow. Optics are everything. You and I both worked Ottawa radio, and that was a line we heard all the time, was optics are everything. Mm-hmm. Do you think the Chilliwack Chamber is trying to put a good spin on this, or is it true, do you think, that small business can last the next 6 months out of all of this? Because we got to go through Christmas.
That's a great point, and that is when most small businesses actually get into the black. That's why we have all of these sales happening around Thanksgiving. That's why American stores have these huge Thanksgiving sales, is because that is when they get into the black. That is why it's called either Black Monday or Black Friday, whatever day they want to pick. That's literally why. So we hope so. We hope they're able to get better over the next 6 months. But if it's the idea that everything is fine and dandy for 6 months, is that what they're saying? Like they're good for now?
They are insinuating that everybody should be okay or feels comfortable over the next 6 months. Again, optics are everything.
It is everything. And I'll just tell you what we're hearing here at the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. We have a lot of folks who have family-based small businesses. They're phoning us and emailing us, and they're hanging on by their fingernails. We've heard directly from people, for example, who run a restaurant and they can't get their staff to come back. They own the place and they're literally waiting tables. They're seating people. They're trying to find people to help wash dishes. It's at that level for some of these small businesses. So we hope what the Chilliwack Chamber of Commerce is saying is true for Chilliwack small businesses. And if that's true, that's great. That's a good news story. But we hope that that doesn't interfere with what's actually happening on the ground. And what we're hearing from small businesses is that things are rough right now. And so that's why we're urging the government, keep things as open as you possibly can while keeping people safe. At the very last minute, should you consider shutting down businesses again?
And something tells me when we get to the end of CERB at the end of October, we're going to have this conversation as an update. Kris Sims, you are always welcome here, and good to talk to you again.
Thank you so much.
Kris Sims is the BC Director for the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, and you're watching chillTV's News of the Week. The Chilliwack Chamber of Commerce released a statement this past week saying that most small businesses, for them, feel that they can weather the COVID storm. Well, as this was being released, Envision Financial shut down the branch in Yarrow, and that has caused a firestorm on social media. In fact, City Councillor Jason Lum, who grew up in Yarrow, who is also a city councillor for Chilliwack, who is also the chair for the Fraser Valley Regional District, has said on Facebook he's going to write a letter to Envision demanding that they leave that branch open. And in other news, we are usually getting ready for the CP holiday train to come across the country. The train normally helps out food banks. Well, at Kent Council this past week, we got the bad news. The entire run right across Canada for the CB Holiday Train won't happen because of COVID. So what they are asking is, please make a donation to the food bank. In a Facebook opinion post, Mission Raceway, already reeling from COVID-19 shutting down the drag racing season, posted to Facebook their concerns over the new Mission waterfront plans. Track owners are concerned that they weren't mentioned in this piece. The future of the track may be in the balance. The NHRA-sanctioned track has been in operation at Mission Raceway Park since 1992, but the history of the track actually goes back 40 years. So in a rebuttal, the District of Mission stated that Mission's waterfront does not have a comprehensive land use plan and that further consideration of the waterfront and official community plan bylaw will take place on September the 21st. So nothing's happening with the raceway yet.
The BC Hockey League Board of Governors unanimously approved a COVID-19 alternative plan to fulfill the 2020-21 season. The alternative will be implemented in the event that Provincial Health Office regulations do not allow arena capacity that provides needed gate revenue for BCHL teams. In the case that the original request for 25% capacity in arenas by the scheduled December 1st start date is not approved by the PHO, the league will move forward with a model of reduced games without fans and will rely on player fees along with sponsorship and government support to fund the season.
The Canadian Junior Hockey League announcing Monday that the coaching staffs for Canada East and Canada West have been chosen to guide their respective sides at the 2020 World Junior A Challenge. The event was supposed to be this December in Cornwall, Ontario. It's going to happen sometime in 2021. The Chilliwack Chiefs head coach Brian Maloney will be the coach for Canada West.
The PGA of British Columbia is pleased to announce the regional recipients in 11 categories of the 2020 PGA of BC Awards program. Kevin Stinson wins in the category of Apprentice Professional, Sham Mountain Golf Course, and was Junior Golf Leader of the Year.
Chilliwack FC has amended the return to play policy. It was originally announced on July the 4th. Only one parent can watch from the sidelines with social distancing in effect. Full details can be found on the Chilliwack FC social media pages. And due to the smoke and haze situation, practice was pretty much canceled for the entire week. chillTV weather, it is feeling like fall, and hopefully with less haze like we saw over the past week. Autumn temperatures hitting 19 and a chance of showers. Big thank you to Glenda Standeven, our co-anchor this week, also with the Chilliwack Optimists Club. Last weekend, you were swamped, and how did the project go? Tell us a little bit about it.
It was actually perfect, except for the smoke, of course. We could have done without that. But we had a lot of fun. There was a nice crowd of people. We were all COVID friendly and kept in our little bubbles. And people came up and said that they had visited places they had never been before. People who have lived in Chilliwack all their lives had never been to these 6 stops that we had on the rally. So it brought business into local businesses that they were pleased to have. And we got to experience something new in the valley.
Do we have a total number of dollars that was raised in the rally and the poker run, or is that still to come?
Yeah, no, we raised just shy of $3,000, I think $2,850 or something like that, and close to, which was way more than we thought for the small group that we had participating. But we had so much donations from the community of gift certificates and things. We put it into an online auction so that people can sign up now and do the online auction. And it was just amazing, the response we had from the community. And
more information can be found on the Chilliwack Optimist website and Facebook page.
Yeah, just go to Facebook, Optimist Club of Chilliwack Auction, and you can sign up to bid on some amazing prizes and gift certificates.
If you'd like to participate in reporting news in Chilliwack and you have a story you think we should know about, send us a note to news@chilltv.ca and we would love to hear from you. That's the news this week. I'm Don Lehn.